There's been some concern over a possible Iranian missile strike against Israel. This is all coming about amid reports of some missile exercises in several cities yesterday by the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard. However, while Israel certainly is keeping a close watch on Iran, the top focus of the Jewish nation is reportedly the second phase of its ceasefire agreement with Hamas. Now, that is expected to be a top conversation when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visits the United States and visits President Trump early next week. So what might come out of that meeting? Well, joining me now to talk about this and more is Congressman Keith Self. He serves on several committees, including the Foreign Affairs Committee. He also faithfully served our country for 25 years in the Army before retiring with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Self, always an honor to have you join us on Washington Watch. Welcome back to America, and welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much, Jody. Great to be with you.
All right, I do want to get to your trip to Nigeria, but before we get there, let's talk about Iran and what kind of threat do you think that they potentially really pose to Israel? Are they as strong as they were before the summer, for example?
Well, make no mistake about it, Jody. Iran is rearming with the help of China in the axis of evil. We know that. So yes, exercises make sense because they've now got to rearm, they've got to refit. And yes, the threat is growing from Iran again, because as they rearm, they certainly will pose the threat that they always have and will continue to have. Iran has laid none of their dreams aside.
So obviously Israel is not going to, nor can they afford to take any chances with this. I mean, they certainly lower the tolerance bar after our October 7th attacks. But Israel's been experiencing, at least for the last couple of months, a degree of peace to some extent, but they are certainly not out of the woods. Are you saying that is an increasing threat for them right now with the help of China and maybe others?
Absolutely, Jody. Their neighbors have not laid aside their dreams, as I said, of doing away with Israel as a state. They don't believe that Israel has the right to exist as a sovereign state, and their stated goal, no matter how many times we attack them, their stated goal will continue to be to eliminate the state of Israel from the face of the earth.
Wow. So what are you anticipating the meeting next week to primarily consist of between Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump?
Well, as the Prime Minister said, I think Gaza will take up most of it, because how are we moving forward in Gaza? And again, Hamas is rearming. In fact, they have declined to disarm. So they are rebuilding as well. So when you look at Iran, when you look at Hamas, the threat is growing because they are rebuilding, which they always do when they are taken down a notch. So I think that Gaza will be very important, both to President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, because if Hamas refuses to disarm, which they have heretofore, that is, I don't know how the process moves forward until Hamas agrees to, and I don't expect them to do that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because, I mean, Hamas has yet to even return the body of the last deceased hostage. And, of course, many people are out there saying that is a tactic for them to buy more time, so to speak, because turning over that body would, by what you just mentioned, it would mean moving into the second phase of this peace deal, which would require them to disarm. So how concerned are you about what Hamas may be doing right now with all of this?
On this show before, Jody, I have said Hamas will rebuild. The threat continues. Israel will have to continue to defend itself in the wake of the rebuilding of the proxies that surround it, and Iran, and certainly the help from China. So this is nothing new. It is to be expected. We just need to continue to support Israel as they continue to defend their right to exist against their neighbors.
Well, and it's not only Israel is making news. As I mentioned with you coming in here, you just returned from another part of the world, from Nigeria. And tell us about your trip, what you did there, what you saw, what you heard.
It was a very quick trip. We were on the ground for 29 hours. We met with senior government officials. We met with the National Security Advisor, with the Minister of Defense, with the Attorney General to express our concerns on the lack of government action against the killings of Christians in Nigeria. President Trump's redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and a congressional delegation in early December, plus our trip this over the weekend, have all brought more attention to Nigeria. And what we're hearing from people is the government is starting to pay attention. They're starting to make progress. We need to watch it. We need to continue. And then we attended a church service of the Christian Reformed Church. It was a wonderful service. In fact, the Minister of Defense, who is a committed Christian, went with us and made remarks to the church. I think that was a really important service. Four congressmen were there, and the Minister of Defense. Jody, I can't tell you how important I think that was. And frankly, it was one of our major intentions in the trip, is to go to a service, because Christmas time historically for several years now has been very dangerous for Christians, because the Islamic militants take the Christmas season as an opportunity to kill Christians. So it was important we were there just 3 days before Christmas.
I totally agree. Totally agree with that. And hats off to you and the others for going. There obviously has been a change in how the U.S., the media, and a host of others are handling Nigeria as this becomes more and more a talking point around the world. And what do you think? Are we entering into a turning point, do you think? Is there a path that's positive that Nigeria is going to step in and start protecting Christians?
Well, they're starting to understand they cannot allow Boko Haram, ISIS West Africa, the Fulani militants to simply destroy Christian churches and kill Christians at will. They know that. So how are they going to? Now, we're providing them some intelligence. They do the attacks, but we're now providing them some intelligence. If they make good use of that, then I'll think they'll make progress. But the most important thing is that the Nigerian government now understands they have to take this seriously. And frankly, Nigeria is the largest country in Africa by population, 240 million people. This is a major player in Africa. We have got to get Nigeria right. We've got to defeat the Boko Haram in the northeast. Not we. Nigeria needs to defeat Boko Haram in the northeast, and in the middle belt, where the Fulani militants are killing Christians. They've got to get a handle on this, and we emphasize that to them.
30 seconds real quickly. How would you encourage our viewers and listeners to be praying for this situation and Christians in Nigeria?
Well, pray that the government starts to protect its citizens. Here in the United States, we expect the first job of our government is to protect the citizens and our rights. The Nigerian government needs to step up and do that as well, protect all of their citizens. Now, when you look at the percentages, there's a fairly close relationship. A small majority of Nigeria is Muslim, but they have a very significant Christian population. They need to protect the Christians as well. So that's how I would ask you to pray. Pray that the government, that the Lord speaks to the government, because the Minister of Defense, as I said, is a committed Christian. He was taking notes from his own Bible at that service. Pray that he has
Texas Congressman Keith Self. We've got to end it right there. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us on Washington Watch.